Hello and welcome back to the OnlyAccies channel. It's finished here. Hamilton 1, St Mirren 1. We were talking in the 85th minute about losing again, being rock bottom. We're still bottom, but we did manage to get a point from that game. We stole it. Another late Kyle Munro goal steals us a point. I'm joined, as always, by Brandon and Andrea. Andrea, I'll come to you first. We were chatting during the game. What did you make of it? What were your thoughts with that late goal?
We were terrible, but just as Accies do, when you least expect it, they got a goal. And that's why we support them, because they're dreadful 90% of the time, but just sometimes they come up with a bit of magic. It was two dreadful teams. I said to my son at the start of the game, this is going to be a 0-0 draw or a 1-0 win, because it was two dreadful teams, but we'd no creativity.
Before the game started, I was saying to a few people that it'd be a one each draw, a very boring game where there's not much created. St Mirren don't really give much away. We had two small strikers on against two extremely powerful centre backs. You could tell there wasn't going to be much in the game. St Mirren looked just as dreadful as us, in my opinion. They perhaps looked slightly better just because how bad we were. But in all honesty, they didn't create anything, and they didn't look like a side that were pushing and had to win for top six, which sort of makes that go a bit more bittersweet. The fact that we've stopped St Mirren getting top six.
Ewan said it's great. St Mirren don't get top six. That cheered his day up, because they lost out in top six.
Bad. It's bad that we're having to say that, because I'm trying to take positive. Obviously, we scored a late goal. We've got a point. It's good, but that's 1-1 in 12 games. Yeah. That's no good enough. That is a team fighting relegation. Have 1-1 in 12. It's not good enough, and we can't just. Although we are seen to be a sort of negative fan base quite a lot of the time, you can't. Although we've scored a late goal, hopefully that does kick us on. But I'm pretty relieved that the international break and the Scottish Cup break is where it is now, because hopefully they just take 2 weeks off and they don't train, so we don't get any more injuries, because it just seems we're having more injuries week in, week out. You sympathise with Rice slightly, because all the injuries we've got and we're getting, it can't be easy, but there's clearly something underlying there for there's so many injuries. It was a shite game, two shite teams that didn't look different. And a draw was probably fair. If MD deserved to win it, I'd probably say St Mirren just, but no, a draw was a fair result.
It was two shitey teams. That's what I said to my brother. He's not an Accies fan. It was two shitey teams.
I want to go back though a little bit, because when Brandon there was saying that he sympathised with Brian Rice, you were shaking your head, Andrea. Why is that? Why do you not sympathise with Brian Rice?
It's too many bad substitutions all season. To me, see, if we go down, the game that cost us was the Ross County game. If we go down, that's the game I'll blame. I'm not going to argue with Brandon. I like Brandon. No offence to Brandon. But do you know what I mean? I'm just saying, though, it's annoying, because that's a game that cost us, in my opinion.
Yeah. And Brandon, looking at that game, we saw at halftime, Brian Rice did make some changes. He changed this to a 4-3-3. He brought off Ben Sterling, put on David Moyo. And for the first 10 minutes, it seemed to work. You know, St Mirren were leaving plenty of spaces, but the difference in quality of manager, St Mirren noticed that and immediately changed it and shored it back up again. So what did you make of Brian Rice overall today? Because he brought on his usual suspects, your Ronan Hughes and such. He did try to make a change there, but in my opinion, we're just being outthought in every game. Every manager has Brian Rice's card before the ball's kicked. He knows how Brian Rice is going to play, and any changes he makes, they know how to counteract.
To give me kind of due, I don't think, if you were to ask an Accies fan at half time what the sub would be, I don't think anybody would have says Moyo for Ben Sterling personally. That's one thing I'd maybe say in Brian Rice's defence. I think his usual type of sub and poor game management wasn't there for that sub. It was quite a positive sub, but when you're bringing on David Moyo, it's not exactly a scintillating sub, is it? It's that's where it's poor squad depth.
Yes.
And when I'm saying I sympathise with him, because the depth of the squad isn't good enough. If he's maybe got a better player on to make that more attacking sub, then aye. But he's made in my eyes, that sub he's made is a positive sub in my eyes, because he's took Ben Sterling off. He's kept it. The main thing for me was he kept a Dolphin in centre mid and went two at the back, two centre backs. So I don't think MD can criticise him for that sub. It's just the poor squad depth, which is the issue, because the players which he's bringing on just aren't good enough, and they're not good enough for this level. So that's where the issue is. I don't think we can really. I'm his biggest criticiser for poor in-game management, but I don't think you can really criticise him today, because although yes, Goodwin might have reacted to the subs he made and sort of shored things up, with the players he's got at his dispense, I don't think you can criticise what he done today.
He's got a limited depth of squad, but if you're playing a small striker, you need to play in the deck.
No, definitely.
It's annoying. It's annoying.
No, I agree 100%.
Week in, week out, it's annoying.
I agree with both of you. If you're playing two small strikers like we are, Anderson and Smith, pumping long balls up to them, a big St Mirren, strong St Mirren defence, they're gonna. It's the same against Livy last week. They're gonna laugh at you and just head those balls away every day of the week. So I agree with Brandon bringing on a more positive substitute in David Moyle, and I do also agree that he's crap. And I do also agree your squad depth is horrendous.
One thing I would say though is Callum Smith didn't touch the ball at all that first half. So.
And Brandon, we saw before the game Jamie Hamilton missing from the squad, another out of the blue injury. You know, what's wrong with him? Who knows? And it looks as if we've picked up another injury during the game. Aaron Martin, another defender. You know, another player who has been so key to that defence along with Brian Easton. It looks as if he just overstretched himself when he went to block an Obika shot. Ended up being a great save from Fulton, but it looks as if he just overstretched. He limped on for the next kind of 5 minutes or so, but did eventually come off. Let's hope that's nothing too serious. You know, what are your thoughts seeing him going off, given how important he has been?
It's a new person. It's not even a new person every game. It's a new person every half that's fucking injured. Like I touched on a minute ago, it just seems to be a new player injured all the time. Not even every game. It's extremely frustrating because, like I said, I sympathise with Rice, but on a personal note about Aaron Martin being injured is huge. He might not be the best player every game, week in, week out, but he gives you a sense of assurance, if you know what I mean. I just don't understand how we're getting so many players injured. I don't know what it is, mate. We don't see what happens in training. We see what happens in games. He's over kind of stretched his legs, so I don't know, mate. Is it the pitch? Is it what they're doing in training? Is it intensity of training? I don't know what it is, mate. But I think I tweeted before the game, our injuries is what is going to put us down, because I'm not going to joke, I'm not going to beat around the bush. If we had a full strength squad, or even a remotely full strength squad for the best part of this season, we wouldn't, and we were playing the type of football we had when sort of Anderson came in, would be much better than what we are. So
yeah, I mean, I agree. We're all questioning what's happening. I mean, like you said, it seems as if every game we're getting a new, where is this player? And then we're getting told, oh, they were injured midweek. Or we're getting told, oh, there was an injury in the last game. Like, we're getting all this information. And
I understand to a level why they don't tell you about injuries, because obviously then that might give the opposition sort of the knowledge of how to perhaps change their game plan. But it's just, like you said, it's every game that somebody new is happening, and then within the game, Martin gets fucked. So fingers crossed he's all right. We've got 2 weeks until the next league game. I couldn't give a fuck about the cup. I don't know about yourself, but it's all focus in the league for me. I know we always talk about we'd love a cup run and that. Couldn't give a fuck, if I'm being honest.
Obviously, we drew 1 each today. Picks up a point. It does still leave us bottom. Kelly hammering Motherwell 4-1 today. And
Everyone hammers Motherwell, you know that.
And St Johnstone beating Ross County. So there is only 2 points differing us in 12th and Ross County in 10th. So I'm not going to say that, I'm giving up hope whatsoever. There was points in that game where I did, I'm not going to lie. But I'm not giving up hope quite yet. Brandon, where do you sit at it right now? Our current squad depth, Brian Rice, currently sitting bottom. Do we have enough to fight it off?
I don't know. If I'm being honest, with 1-1 in 12, although people might say we went on a good run because we played better football than what we had before, you can never write Hamilton Accies off, I suppose. So I don't know. That's my only hope, because that's in our sort of blood that you can't write us off. But looking at us on the pitch, we're absolutely honking. Hopefully the break of the Scottish Cup, and I couldn't give a fuck if St Mirren beat us 8-0 in the Scottish Cup. We're not going to go to Hampden anyway, so hopefully we play an extremely young team against St Mirren, the international break, we get players back for injury, we don't get more injuries, and then if we've got better options, and you never know, but it's a tough one. You just need to live with hope. If it's anything to look back on the past performances, we're down, but it's Accies. We pull things out the bag when we never expect it. So the split's huge. So we'll see what happens.
And just before we go, Brandon, I'll get your thoughts on a man of the match. For me, I've seen that the club have gave it to Scott Martin, and Lanarkshire Live Sport have put up 3 options of Scott Martin, Scott McMahon, and Kyle Munro. I'm giving it to Kyle Munro. I don't think any player was good today. Very few players get pass marks, if any. But Kyle Munro, I think, changed us going forward. He was a nuisance, as the commentators kept saying. He was a nuisance whenever he got the ball, and of course he ends up getting the equaliser. It's a really good ball in, and another bullet header from Kyle Munro, same as against Livingston. So he gets he's only on for 10 minutes, but he makes a difference. So he gets my man of the match.
The media are there. I don't think they can give that man of the match to anybody. Really, it'd be a really tough decision, because they were rotten, we were rotten. It was a really shite game of football. There was no individual standout player, in my opinion. It was just in general a just shite game of football. But when Kyle Munro come on, I'm not particularly have been his biggest fan when he has made sub appearances and he has sort of started games. But no, when he came on, he looked confident on the ball. He actually took on a couple of players. He got a few crosses in, and he offered us a different sort of dimension going forward. And as we know, he got the goal at the end there that has made a snatch and grab a point. So I think it's hard to give anybody else the man of the match, because nobody really deserves it apart from him. Maybe one person, because another outstanding save for Ryan Fulton, Abika, phenomenal, and he's every game he seems to be coming off with these absolute phenomenal saves, which fair play to him. He's proved a lot of critics wrong, myself included. He seems to be coming on a game quite well. So, in between, in my opinion, if I was giving anybody a man of the match, it would be Kyle Munro, followed by Ryan Fulton, just for that save.
Kyle Munro from 0 to hero. Last week he's at fault for 2 goals, and this week he scores an equaliser. So good for him. I think that will be the title of the video: from 0 to hero, Kyle Munro.